welcome to another week of Do the Damn Thing. Today, I am very excited to be talking to some very inspiring and stylish women. I am being joined by Laura and Lana from the Sister Brand. They are out in Canada, where we're just discussing it is very cold. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep warm here. My goodness.
Thanks for coming. I'm really excited to talk to you guys for a couple reasons. One, I found you on Instagram and I just loved the aesthetic. You are designers, so you know what you're doing. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And then as I started to learn a little bit more about you, I was just like, oh, right on. This is so everything that like Hip Cat Society stands for. And just your messaging and your voice and all of that. So let's tell the audience a little bit about what it is that you do. You go ahead and tell them yourselves.
Well, yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes.
We were super excited to be found by you. You know what? We founded our business on the idea that we wanted to design our own life. We wanted to take back control. We wanted to have something that was really for us. Yeah. And it's exciting. So we have an interior design company, and that's what we do. That's our career, but it's kind of evolved into something a lot more.
Yeah, it's definitely evolved as we've been creating our brand and creating our business. Like Lana said, we started out as interior design. We started out actually with a little bit of a lifestyle boutique online where we had like pillow covers and lifestyle items, and we were helping people with designing their homes and their spaces. And then all of a sudden we fell upon some times in our life, some things happening, some losses in our family. And we got this idea that we just needed to like woman up. Yeah. We just need to take control. We're in this rut. We need to take control, woman up. And all of a sudden, woman up happened.
Yeah.
I love it.
We trademarked, or we are pending trademark on the slogan right now. We created an apparel line to go along with our interior design business.
Yes.
And since then, it has just snowballed. Yeah, like it's been a crazy ride.
Yeah, we're looking at the at some of the designs now, and so these you've got, it looks like T-shirts. You've got, what is that? A gift card. You got a sweatshirt. You've got all this great stuff.
Yeah.
Look, a little mug. I mean, I'm a huge fan of just the phrase and the sentiment behind "woman up." Tell me about some of the. Oh, look at that little wine glass. Kids' clothes. What has the reaction been from like your audience and from social media?
You know, it's been amazing. Honestly, we because of Woman Up, it's funny. You know, we always thought it would be kind of a subsidiary to our company, but it took over, and it started opening up doors for us. And I think just the alignment piece, right? The same way you found us and felt aligned, and likewise, we're finding it with other women, other companies in Canada. And we're finding each other. And so we kind of bond over this phrase. And it's led to some really amazing things. We found Lisa Webb, Canadian expat mom, and she's the founder of Wine Women Wellbeing. And she really, we connected with her immediately. And from there, we've had celebrity shout outs. We've had some amazing, amazing times. During what was 2020, the worst year for everybody, we had some really great highlights. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Now, in terms of the retail side, like how does one get started with that? Did you just start like printing with some like digital print shop, or what was your like days 1 through 30 look like?
Yeah, and honestly, it is a great question. It took so much for us to fine tune how we wanted the font for Woman Up, where we wanted on a placement for a shirt. And thinking about women and having a chest and sizes and all these little factors. So we literally probably tried on a million shirts. Honestly, had all of our girlfriends try on these shirts from different sizes. And then we started playing with the fonts and the placements. And we were so fortunate to track down a local woman-led business owner who does screen printing. Yeah, she's incredible.
Professionally too. It's all commercial grade, and she's been amazing to work with. So
we found her and we worked with her, and she helped us with what she was knowledgeable in, and we worked together, and she really helped us to figure it all out, and then it kind of went from there. Yeah.
So you've talked about a little bit about, finding people that you align with, and you found this woman locally. one of the things that we really believe in at Hipcast Society is building a community, right? You can't do it on your own. It takes a village, whatever sort of slogan you want to attach to it. We firmly believe that you need to form relationships. I mean, really, that's what marketing and sales is, right? But like, tell me a little bit how you've leveraged your community and the relationships to grow your empire.
It's a really great point. We talk about this a lot, and whether you're a people person or not, we all thrive on connection.
Yeah.
And so monetizing that has been easy because we built the connections. And so really, we had people reaching out to us that we didn't even know were in our own city, and they had these legions behind them. I think about some of the people we've met through Women Wellbeing, great example. They have now 14 branches across Canada, and we all share, and it's all a giant network. So honestly, meeting clients through our design firm is one thing, but it's the network beyond that that just keeps everything else going, for sure.
Support system, And all the time we have women in our fold saying, "Oh my gosh, I thought of you when I was talking to so and so, and I'm going to put you in touch." And we're doing the same, and just your network builds and it grows, and your possibilities grow. It's a pretty cool thing, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't want to cut off your heads there. You squish a little bit, but just for the next question. Oh, there you go. You are actually sisters, right?
We are.
Right.
There you go. Mixing family and business, always a good thing, I hope.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
So we talked about the relationships a little bit, and obviously we're a marketing agency, so we want to know about marketing. And I know our audience wants to know about marketing because that's it. You can't have a business without it, right? So what does your marketing look like? How do you find people, not only for the retail side, but we haven't even really touched on, you guys are interior designers as well. And so you're really, you're juggling two, if not more, businesses at the same time. How do you market? How did you market initially? Let's start there.
Yeah, we kind of just threw ourselves into it. And I honestly believe that's the only way you can do it.
You just have to
start somewhere, right? You start your page, you start your social media. Luckily, Lana's got a little bit of background knowing the behind the scenes of all the SEOs and all that. Like, don't talk to me about that because I have no idea. She's the guru on that between us. But just starting somewhere, getting some images. We did hire a branding photographer, which was really important and helpful to us in creating a vision that you want your company to look like.
Yeah.
That I think is very helpful. And then there's all the behind the scenes and investigating, your hashtags and your market and
social media is its entire own beast, as we all know.
And actually it's not sorry to interrupt, but we're looking at your Instagram page right now. I mean, it's just so beautifully, so beautiful, so well designed. The colors flow, the life, the people, the faces. I mean, it's clearly done by someone who knows what they're doing. Do a lot of people find you on Instagram?
Sorry, do a lot of people which?
Do a lot of people find you on Instagram? Like, is this a legitimate source for clients for you?
Absolutely. I would say a huge percentage of our clients are from Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
They find us because somebody's tagged us, or, a friend has tagged them in one of our posts because it resonated with them. And so it's a huge tool. It's invaluable, really. It can be daunting at times. And I think that especially for entrepreneurs, it's very overwhelming. So what we did is we really just, immersed ourselves in learning as much as we could. And we're still learning every day. It changes every day, as you know.
Yeah.
So we would just say, don't be discouraged, keep going, keep learning, and the rest will come.
Right. And now let's talk a little bit, because I know we just barely touched on it, about the design side of it, right? Because that came first. Am I right with that? You were designers before you were t-shirts or retailers?
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of always did design in encompassing with our lifestyle brand, and then now we're kind of building up our design portfolio a little bit heavier, and kind of we're now leveling out.
So Woman Up kind of took over, which was really interesting. In an amazing way. But so now that we kind of have that established, now it's actually brought in the design clients for us, which was so funny. We meet with people for their consults, and they said, we found you because so-and-so mentioned you. And they said, but when we looked and saw you had that Woman Up line, I was like all in. And we just love hearing that, right? It's like, okay, we have manifested our ideal client, our people.
Right.
And that's important too.
Totally proves that it's so much more than these days. It's so much more than just the product, right? That your clients want to feel aligned with you as people, and you as gummy bear eating, wine drinking, farmhouse loving mothers, right? All the things, all the things that you are. They want to know, like, and trust you, which I think is where elements like social media and things like that is where you can really form those connections and build those bonds, which is wonderful. Now, I would think that design work is primarily local. So are you doing like localized hashtags and things like that, or you guys go anywhere?
It's something we branch out with depending on the project. We actually, over the summer, we worked with a resort, Farm Road Estate in Vermont. Mm-hmm. And so via virtual consultation, we help them going through their spaces and how they can improve, or just add a little flair. Mm-hmm. And they were doing a massive renovation there. So that was a super exciting time for us to be able to cross the border virtually during a pandemic and do what we love with clearly awesome, soul finding clients, right? So
right. Yeah. Very, very cool. Now, in terms of like tactics, when you had nothing and no one knew who you were, what was the first thing you do? And most people say build your list, or were you more about building a following, or were you more about meeting people face to face? Like, what was that first step that you were like, we need to nail and scale?
To be honest, I think one of the things that is so important when you're first starting out, especially in social media, is it's hard. Like, we all know it's hard to take like a really good key photo. But when you take one and you've got it, you're like, yep, that's it. Promote it. Put it on there. Do a paid promotion. Just because the reach goes so much farther, and it helps to build you a lot more quickly than momentum. Right.
Organic reach is just you're not going to get anywhere.
Not when you're first starting. So you have to pay for, you need to count on the experts to kind of guide you in this realm. And so we did do a lot of paid advertising, and we're not talking huge numbers here, but enough to get us a little traction. And then we would build on that traction. And another part of it too was working with micro influencers, reaching out to people. Absolutely. We reached out to them. Said, we love your site. Could we just gift you this? You don't nothing in return. If you love it, wear it. Yeah. And yes, but regardless, we just want to put that in their hands. And it was it was slow and steady, but it does eventually build, and it's great.
So you would find people that you thought aligned with your brand, and then just like send them a shirt.
Yep, essentially, exactly that. Reach out to them, say, we love what you stand for. You stand for our brand. We'd love to give this to you. And just like Lana said, and
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Could you pay them, or just give them clothing? So I'm so interested in this because I'm really not familiar with that world. Like, what level of followers are we looking at here? Like 1,000? Clearly not 1 million. So like, is there a range?
Well, it depends on when you start, really. When we first started, we were looking, in the micro influencer categories, which is really, 10,000 and under, even 5,000 and under.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was somebody in a mom's group who had a really great feel to her, and she had everything that we stood for. We would send her a shirt, or we would send another company, or another page. We'd say, can we send you these really great pillow covers?
Yeah.
And they would just post it and tag us, and people would be like, oh, where did you get that? And then it's just that name and brand recognition again and again and again. So we've never paid for anybody to wear our clothing or have any of our
no. And I think it's important too. There was a few times where there was somebody with quite a bit less following than us, but they really just aligned with who we are and what we want. And so it didn't matter to us what their numbers were. We gave it. We're like, we want you to have this because you are exemplifying what we stand for.
The right.
And then it actually supports them as well, because they tag us, we share them. It goes back and forth. It's the networking, the sisterhood, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's it's amazing how much reach you can get from just like, you tag your friends and they tag. I mean, it's mind blowing, and how much power it has of somebody seeing that. Where'd you get that pillowcase? Where'd you get this? And it's great. And it's obviously working well for you guys. So kudos. I want to
Thank
talk a
you.
little bit about the tools you use. Are there certain, because we get a lot all the time. Do I use ActiveCampaign or do I use MailChimp? Do I use Excel spreadsheets or do I use Google Sheets? Like, I mean, there is no shortage of tools in the world of marketing, right? Like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages. Yeah. So what are some of your go-to pieces of tech? Sorry. What are some of your go-to pieces of Mac phones, talk to Mac computers? It's a whole thing. What are some pieces you could not run your business without? Like, this is the bones of, you need this piece of technology. It's got to be some.
Absolutely. Canva would be one of our number one apps that we love.
Canva.
We love Canva. We use them religiously pretty much every day and for so many different applications.
The other big one for me would be Lightroom. Like, I am on Lightroom all day, every day. I think that it's so important.
I recently just learned that that's free.
It is free. There is a $7, I think it's $7, a $7 package upcharge if you want a few of their features. Yeah. And I will say, once you kind of get used to it, that charge is well worth it. Like, it's definitely, it lets you do a little bit further editing.
Yeah, our designer, she's fabulous and super talented, and she's hyping Lightroom to me, and then I found out it was free, and I was like, what am I waiting for? It was so expensive that I could never have that.
Right. And it takes a hot second just to kind of get your head wrapped, or at least it was for me. I was like, how do I use this? But once you get into it, it's really user-friendly, and it's a crucial tool for us. But I think those combined with knowing your hashtags, like whether you reach out to a company to provide you with the best hashtags, or if you really sit down and figure out what those are for you, that's a really big thing for social media. Absolutely.
Yeah, right on. Now, in terms of like, as a designer, I would think that is a scary world to enter into, right? Like, because it feels very personal. Like, if you're going to be designing someone's home, it's like being a wedding photographer or something, right? Like, it's important. It's really, really important. How did you get your first couple clients? Was it friends of yours, or how do you build that portfolio when you don't have one?
Yeah. I think when we first started doing design, we were doing it kind of on the DL before we even formed our company. And so that was a great way to start, whether it was helping friends and family or, just doing trades for somebody. That really works. And even when we first formed our company, we needed those fresh photos. We approached some of the friends who approached us. We said, listen, we'll do a trade with you in exchange for some amazing photos. We'll do some design work. And it really works because they're getting something and you're getting what you need to kickstart everything. So
back to those relationships again. I forgot to mention that we are live. So if anyone has questions, please put them in the chat. And we do actually have a question, which just reminded me that I forgot to ask if anyone has questions. Charlie, our designer, actually wants to know if you buy the presets for Lightroom.
You know what? We haven't purchased the presets. There are a few other
presets we use.
That we've used. Our brand new photographer has her own, and so we have hers as well. But to be honest, I like to edit my own photos. I don't like the presets because half the time I find if I buy the presets, I'm still editing afterwards. So I kind of have my own presets that I do.
But when you're first starting out, it's a great tool because it's so instant easy, right? So, I mean, Jillian Harris has really great presets. Hers are incredible. Tracy Jasmine, she's our branding photographer. She has some great presets. So we highly recommend it. Do it. There's no secret.
Not a big investment either.
It's not a big investment, and it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. I've started messing around with this app called Motion Leap, where basically you can animate elements of a photograph. So, and then export it as just a, WMV or whatever. And does anyone use WMV? It's probably a .mov. Anyway, it's super fun to play with. And there's just so many amazing editing tools out there. So I always love to hear what other people are using. And so, one thing that I get a lot when I do these interviews is that people, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so looking back, are there things that you know now that you're like, oh my God, had I only known this then, I would have saved myself or I would have done something different? Like, let's talk about so many, right? Everybody says that. They're like, oh, I made so many mistakes. But you kind of got to step in it sometimes to learn. So it's all part of the process. But I'd love to hear some of yours if you're willing to share.
Well, we're big fans of stepping in it because you have to make mistakes to learn and to grow, right? And really this journey for us has been about growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, don't be afraid to make those mistakes, but also a lot of those changes are going to come organically as you grow. So it's not necessarily that you made a mistake, it's just that you're moving in a different direction. And for us, like we just went through a major rebrand because our online boutique that we once had wasn't really serving us anymore. We were called Prairie Beach House.
Right.
And
right.
It really worked great for our online boutique, but it doesn't really identify who we are anymore. So,
and how we've evolved and changed in the direction.
So don't be afraid to make mistakes, but also, it is good to have intentions. Set out with your intentions and kind of like your flow chart of where you want to go. We're doing, I think, the third change to our website right now. Stay tuned for that. So it's a lot of money, but we felt like we had to continue to invest in ourselves and in our brand to reflect where we're at.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to talk about that rebranding because that's got to be a difficult choice, right? People know you as Prairie Beach House. You've been Prairie Beach House. Then all of a sudden you're like, just kidding, we're the sister brand.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it was very much, like Lana said, it wasn't serving us anymore. And we had to kind of move in another direction. We were very boutique oriented. And our goal with Prairie Beach House one day was to have a store, which maybe isn't still out of the question down the road. But for now, it's just not working for us. So we kind of had to switch gears and make a new name and be more encompassing of what we're about now.
Right. And with a name change too, I mean, the endless nights we spent bouncing name after name after anybody.
Yeah.
So hard.
It
really was hard.
It's like when you're naming your kid, like,
Yeah, right. Exactly. Naming our kids was way easier than that.
It was 100%.
So what is some of the process that goes involved with rebranding? Obviously, I would assume you're going to get the URL, you're going to have the old URL to redirect to the new URL. But what are some of the other obstacles that you guys are coming across in terms of, changing an entire name of a company? I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Well, and even it's a little thing like a logo, right? It's like Prairie Beach House, we loved our logo. We did it ourselves. But this time we're like, no, we're actually going to invest. We're going to reach out to a branding specialist, somebody that's going to help us to create the image that we foresee. Because that is your face, is your logo. So,
and then having everything else align with that too. So, and also at the same time, switch over your Instagram, switch over your Facebook. And one of the things we ran into is that the name that we loved, which is the sister brand, wasn't available on Facebook. So we reach out to the person who owns it and you try to negotiate and try to work all of these things. But as you know, just because it gets released by somebody else doesn't guarantee that it will actually become yours. So there's
is it like first come first serve? Somebody could come and snatch it. I've never tried to get someone else's name.
Interesting situation, at least in our experience. Maybe there's some other experts out there that have had different experiences, but Instagram releases it and gives you 14 days to the day, and then you can snatch it up. Facebook does not do that. They release a name and then it kind of goes into the atmosphere. And once they deem whatever that time frame is, it comes available.
And just first come first serve? Like
so every day you have to check and see if they released it.
Dress. Yeah. Wait, did you get it?
Nope.
No.
we did a version that worked for us. It just, there was no guarantee to it. And even though we made an agreement with the person who owned the handle, there wasn't enough concrete.
Right. Oh, frustrating. If you change your Instagram name, do your followers come with you?
You
do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you didn't have to start from scratch because that would.
No. If you have a Facebook page, I think you only get 2 name changes per page, and it can be very difficult to come back from that. So just a warning to all y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think it's like with my son's always wanting to change his gamer tag, and I'm like, you can't. I think like one free change, and then this starts costing money.
Right.
Been there. Very cool. Well, obviously the name of the show is Do the Damn Thing, and we've got about 5 minutes left, so I want to be able to make sure we talk about how people can find you and all the wonderful things you do. But let's talk directly to our audience right now. So if there's somebody out there watching who maybe is afraid, maybe there's something stopping them, they're not sure which direction to go, but they got the dream, right? Which is the biggest part. What would you say to them? Run and don't do it? No, just kidding. What would you say? What advice do you have for people just starting out? Any words of wisdom?
The words of wisdom are do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you just have to start somewhere. And maybe that is just, making sure that you can find your names for your URL for your social medias. Get those all kind of neat and tidy, and then start building. Look at your local city. What do you need to have a business license in that city? What do you need as far as insurance? Start baby steps. As soon as you have everything locked down, you can take your time. And
and that those the resources are out there to help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one thing that it does seem so overwhelming to do all these steps, but there's people out there in your city who will walk you through all of those steps,
Mm-hmm.
right? Find your accountant, find your lawyer, find whoever you need to, go to your registries, and they will walk you through every step.
Did you guys have like mentors or coaches? Like who was walking you through? Or was it just the internet?
Yeah, honestly, in a way, it was kind of leaning on each other to kind of grow and further. Lisa Webb has been a huge mentor to us. She's the founder of Wine Women Wellbeing, and she kind of has taken us on her team, and we're really, proud of that. But I think in the end, when you find those people in your circle, you really lean on them, and it just becomes this wonderful relationship. And we wouldn't give up our sisterhood for anything. They're everything to us. So that's really important.
And it's amazing how you can connect with so many people and you feel so deeply connected to them, and you've actually never met them. It's just online, and and some of those amazing relationships that you build, they become your sisterhood. So
absolutely. I mean, I think the world can now attest, especially after 2020 and everyone being so remotely. It's like I've got people who are so incredibly dear to me who I've never seen in real life. You know what I mean? So it's perfectly normal and absolutely possible. Well, I think you guys are amazing. Tell everybody where they can find your stuff, how they can interact with you, whether that's buying your retail, or maybe if you guys look, what are those beautiful lights behind you? Here, spread your lights. They've got amazing design stores. We showed some of your stuff. Their website is prairiebeachhouse.com, but tell them anywhere else that they can find you guys.
You can find us actually, Prairie Beach House will get you there. Also thesisterbrand.com. We do have that URL now.
Good.
We'll be switching over, and then in next couple of weeks, we'll have everything official. Of course, you can find us on Instagram at The Sister Brand, and on Facebook at The Sister Brand Co. So that's the best way to find.
It works.
It works, right? Yeah.
It works.
You.
And we'll have all of your information underneath this. And I expect everyone to be wearing their Woman Up shirts. And I just think you guys are fabulous. Thank you so much. And we will be watching you.
Thank you, Laura.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.